Hi everyone, welcome to That's Just Ridiculous with me and Guy. I just wanted to read you possibly one of the finest press releases I've ever read.
Oh yeah, okay.
From the art world. And I want you to tell me what you think of this. To protect the humble, I'm gonna change the name, and I'm gonna call this artist John Smith.
Okay. Hold on, where did you see this press release?
Online.
Was sent to you, was it?
It was pointed out to me by a fellow artist.
Oh, that's interesting. So it comes well recommended.
Oh yes.
Okay. What's the name of the show? Or can't you say it? You can say that.
Well, let's go. Let's see what it says. Right.
Okay. All right.
To John Smith, animals are mirrors of human consciousness. We project our desires, hopes, and impulses onto the animal, and the animal refracts, and hurls them back to us. Unlike the old masters, he references in his paintings and bronzes, however, George Stubbs, Peter Paul Rubens, Nicolas Poussin. Smith's menagerie is not beneath the human on the food chain or emblematic of the love of Christ. These creatures are gods themselves, emerging from turbulent clouds of divine ether, meme warfare and YouTube clips, with agendas all their own, radiating their sentience in neon geometric yantras. The work is a Rorschach of origin legends. His stampeding bulls 2018 pull their muscular forms from the cosmic aspic that encases them, leaping from their pedestals into tangible reality. Septagon 2018 is a seven-walled Gehenna for an impossible avian community that explodes out of its confinement, expanding the canvas to the great beyond. In our eagerness to supply our own personal narrative to Smith's beasts and the baroque noise from which they emerge, one begins to question herself, her own genesis and binary belief systems. Is this the birth or demise of the universe? Why can't Jesus be an ostrich?
What?
Is that really?
What?
Is that really what a zebra's teeth look like?
Why can't Jesus be an ostrich?
Yes.
That's a phrase to conjure with.
Smith's work doesn't answer. Smith's work is, in italics, is. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's word soup.
It's amazing.
Word porridge.
That's one of the best ones I've ever read.
Well, but I have to say that it's a very, very tough competition, because it's quite common to read drivel like that coming out of contemporary art galleries, isn't it? And I'm dismayed. The spirit plunges when I read that stuff, because all the galleries do it, don't they? It's just, I mean, what do you take from that? I mean, for a moment, without seeing it as a stupid comic, just a sort of set of ridiculous nonsense. In all seriousness, what is that person saying? How would you paraphrase that?
I don't get it. I don't know.
I think, to me, it's what they're saying is, these pictures are about animals, okay? Now, I cannot admit that simple truth. Because if I say that, it means that rich people all they'll be buying is pictures of animals, and they won't part with the money on that basis. So I'm going to have to concoct something, cook something up.
Some baroque noise from them.
Some baroque noise from which they emerge. Because otherwise, they're just pictures of animals. And we cannot allow anyone to think that's really going on. But luckily, Paul, the people looking at this stuff, looking at these words and looking at these pictures are so, tell you what they are, it's not that they're pig shit ignorant, they are. No, they are so unconfident. They are so insecure about what they see that we can pull the wool over their eyes and make them believe that it's something that it's not, just with words. And one of the beauties of music and of film is that you can't do that. You can't spin a pop song. I mean, metaphorically, you can't. You couldn't write about an album like that and it increase the sales.
But Seething Wells and people like that used to do it all the time in the NME back in the day.
Well,
they used to write the most ridiculous reviews of records.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. But they were outside reviewers. They weren't people in on the marketing operation.
No.
That's people in the gallery trying to cook up some kind of vibe around the artist. That's a sales operation, Paul. Do you see what I mean? It's not an outside person going, "This is shit" or "This is wonderful."
Would you buy into that?
No, because it just, to me, what it doesn't say, it says absolutely nothing about the art at all, but we all know that. It says of the writer, I'm interested to know what it says about the writer. If I met that person, I would say, you are a disgrace to the profession. You are a horrible, disgusting prostitute. And don't come within 5 yards of me, you know. How dare you debase our craft in that manner? That's the say of the writer. And you are, and I don't know what, I guess it, I don't know.
Where are you on copywriting then? Oh, you like that? We went on about that, didn't we? Because you like go to work on an egg. So there is...
But and then
honest.
What it says about the person, what it says about gallery goers is so depressing, Paul, that they read that and they think that it's irrelevant, it's an interesting thing to have said about that
I'm not
work.
sure they do.
I know we laugh about it, Paul, and I very much hope all of our listeners laugh about it too, but I have a horrible feeling that the reason it's so prevalent is because it's effective. Why are they writing that shit? And you know, there are very few writers who've taken it on. And one of them, Laura K. Jones, she's really tried to take apart ArtSpeak. It's art, we're talking about ArtSpeak.
Yeah.
And even Will Self's had a go at it. But Will Self, I read the piece that Will Self did about it, wasn't actually that good. Because for other writers, maybe it's just our blind fury makes it a bit hard to really take apart what they're doing and why it's so horrible. We all proper writers held that kind of shit in utter disdain. But Laura Kay has written a bit called ArtSpeak. She occasionally does it. There was a bit in the Telegraph quite recently where she takes apart a very similar gallery press handout and just takes the piss out of it. Just says it's meaningless. It's put up to make you think. It's for people who are utterly illiterate, to make them think that they are, you know, that they've got an original thought or they've got a thought. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor. Someone wrote something about, it's a bit like a go faster stripe on a car. That's kind of how I feel about it. You know, it doesn't make any difference to the thing, and to think that it would, you know, to the actual object itself, and to think that you can affect I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it has been said
despair.
about. I don't know who said
despair.
this. I don't know who said this, but somebody. I think it might have been me. It might have been somebody else said that. The job of contemporary art really is to make stupid people feel intelligent. It's one of the functions of it.
No, they didn't quite say that actually. They said this. They said the function of contemporary art, I've got to get this right, is for clever, to clever and rich people to believe that poor people are stupid. No, to make poor people. It's a conspiracy by clever and rich people to make poor people feel stupid.
That's a different thing. I mean, I'm talking about people feeling...
I don't know who wrote that, but I remember.
It's a kind of flattery, that's what I think. So when somebody buys a contemporary artwork, often what's happening is it just has enough intellectual content in it to make somebody who's not really intellectual and not really that interested feel like they're clever. And that's why they buy into it.
Repeat that.
Oh, I can't remember what I said.
I don't think that...
It makes people feel clever, and even though it's not, so it doesn't matter.
Well, you know,
I
have some contemporary art in this house. I have some art done by people who are alive today. And I find it's really difficult to have it up, because when I go into a house with contemporary art in it, I'm immediately a little on my guard, Paul. I am immediately on my guard.
Hand in your pocket.
They're thinking the bottom line is that these guys could well be wankers. All right, these could well be wankers. Let's just have a look at this and be a bit more careful. You know, and be careful as to what they're trying to do. I have a very good friend who says to me, bottom line.
I can never be friends with
Bottom
somebody.
line, they're just invitations. In the old days, you'd put invitation on a chimney piece. These pictures just say, I'm in a social set. I am in a social set.
It's like a T-shirt or a badge.
Yeah, I'm in a social set, and you're not, because to get in the social set, you need £1 million to throw around at a painting. But I often see people looking at the paintings in this house, and I feel embarrassed, Paul, actually. I do. I think that I think they think, oh God, Guy's so clever, and Guy's in the scene, and all the things that you shouldn't really, the art should not be doing, functions that art should, in my opinion, art should just be delighting, shouldn't
They
it?
should look at it and think that's amazing.
Yeah, really, and not, oh, Guy's so clever, or oh, Guy's rich, or whatever, you know what I mean? Not that I've got anything expensive in this house, but he quickly said, but. And it's a pity in a way, but something that is genuinely delightful is lovely, isn't it?
Don't books do that too? People have bookshelves that do the same thing.
It's different because none of them cost more than £8. Actually, not true. There are some very valuable books, but you don't really.
I read a lot, you know.
Yeah, I love you. God,
I'm a real reader. God,
you see it fewer and fewer. A book-lined room, used to be so common, and it's now really quite rare. And in movies or in TV, you hardly ever see. Actually, someone was saying, "Oh, Guy, haven't you noticed that the sign of a room with a lot of books in is it's a villain? It's some seedy sex criminal." The baddies got, they got being sitting at home reading books, not getting involved, and not going to art galleries and having cappuccinos. But I remember, certainly I used to just always have a look at someone's bookcase, just see if they had the 25, base. I guess the way you probably do with albums. You can't do that now with iTunes. You can't see
everything's available to everybody.
And as a result, Paul, our relationship with all of them is less intense. And it's so sad.
Well, that's why I want my record player.
Yeah, I think it's really good, and I totally approve of it, actually. I totally approve of it.
You put a record
Come
on,
over and we're going to play smooth jazz, aren't we?
Yeah, Chet Baker. Let's get lost.
It's going to be really good having Paul live in the next house. Will you be giving me a key? Actually, the landlord. Hold on, let me just check the tenancy agreement. Oh, yes, the landlord reserves the right of entry on 24 hours notice, written notice.
24 hours written notice?
Yeah.
You can have that.
Yeah. Don't worry, mate, I've got it.
No,
it's not for you to give it to me.
No, you can have it.
That's part of the agreement.
No, you can have it.
Sign here, sign here.
You can have it.
Great.
I'll let you have that. But if you come in at any other time, I reserve the right to shoot you with an air rifle.
No, I'll be coming over and listen to some smooth jazz and have some martinis with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to get a basement put in.
What? You can't do. No, you can't change in any way the design or the effects or injure the landlord's fixtures and fittings.
Great.
You can't.
I'm going to have a gym down there for pumping iron and everything, and a sauna.
No, you can't do that.
And a plunge pool.
No, you can't do any of that.
Why not?
Because that's to change the character or the effect of the landlord's.
I've worked out how we can come in though through the side.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Anyway,
I'll get ready to dig it.
But we will. It'll be quite nice having you over there. We'll pod from over there. I'm going to have a Paul's leaving home party. So my invitation just going to go. He's leaving. Home. Come and celebrate. And on the same night, you can have a housewarming party.
Yeah, and to which I may or may not invite you. Have a look in your agreement and see if it's in there. Whether I have to invite you to my housewarming.
Yeah, if I give you.
Shall I have a look?
If I give you 24.
If I give. Flick. Oh no, God!
No, I've given you 24 hours written notice. You can't stop me coming.
What do you mean? You haven't, though?
Landlord's inspection will have to be carried out at 8 p.m.
You won't know when it is, anyway.
No, anyway, I never want to go to a party to which I'm not invited. Do you?
No.
I'm almost never gay crashed a party.
crasher.
No, I don't like that. Turning up where you're not wanted.
No, I don't like that.
It's not cool, is it? No.
When I was a kid, I used to do it. So plans for this year, then? Now we're in the first pod of the new year.
Yeah.
And this is that's just ridiculous year, obviously. I was wondering, is there anything you would like to do? I mean, are we going to go to pod from Panama, I think?
Yeah, Chernobyl, we thought. I'm quite onto that, although my friend Nicola Schulman wrote a very good bit in the Criterion magazine about going to Chernobyl, and a lot of our plans are driving over in the Bristol, getting caned in Pripyat, basically swanning around doing what we wanted, proven to be very unpractical because she said you're under very close supervision there. And so that might not be quite so
but that's
useful.
in the exclusion zone, but you could go up to the exclusion zone and it's fine.
I guess so, yeah. So we could do that, that would be nice. I would quite like us to have a narrative that goes over maybe even the whole year where we're like looking for someone or trying to find something, not exclusively. So we have our conversations, but at the same time I bring you up to date on a mission that we're on.
What would that mission be?
Well, I would quite like to find someone or to solve something.
The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail, exactly. we find the Holy Grail. Also, I don't know, just a kind of little...
That would give us a good excuse to go to Jerusalem.
A little kind of running story. What I think would be nice for the listener as well to have some sense of what, there's been a development. We got an email this week.
About the Grail.
About the Grail.
From King Arthur at roundtable.com.
Maybe why not just start? We live in Glastonbury. Why don't we just start at the Grail? We're trying to track the Grail down.
Shall we? We could just.
But I don't want it to take over the pod. But something like that with a bit more. So it's not like each episode is entirely discrete.
Are you talking about a MacGuffin?
No, I don't think I am actually. I'm talking about a narrative, a story, a sense of linking them together more. Because now you could shuffle the pods up and it wouldn't really matter what order they're done in.
Oh, I think it would.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
I think they've changed over this year.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think the content's changed quite a lot. And
really?
Yeah, they're not as fast moving now, I don't think. They're a bit more sedate. The pace of them is a bit more reflective.
God, does that mean is that a euphemism for boring?
No, I think it means that we've settled in, we've bedded in.
Right. We certainly, I had to do a talk at a book festival, Byline Festival, the Curious Arts Festival down in Sussex, run by Claire Conville. Thank you, Claire, for inviting me. She interviewed me on stage. And so suddenly I was with someone else.
Guy, was it very left-wing?
It was quite left-wing, yeah, it was left-wing. There were people from X.
Did they rumble you?
I had to sit, I'm not joking, this will make the listener laugh, at a table in a kind of bar area with the people who were organising the What's It Rebellion. What's it called?
Extinction Rebellion.
Extinction Rebellion, and Gavin Turk. And Gavin Turk, who I know a little bit from my other life, I felt I love Gavin very much. But I did think, oh my God, he might reveal me.
He could blow you up.
Who is that man?
What's he doing here?
What is that man doing here?
Jacques Hughes!
Jacques Hughes.
Imposter!
Imposter. Stand up and explain.
Fifth columnist!
I know. I did think I would be revealed as a right-wing bastard, or kind of sort of 3-litre car engine.
At the very least, a dodgy fucker.
Yeah. But anyway, I loved them, and of course they adored me. But...
were you asked any awkward?
But what I did, so when I was doing the interview on the stage, it was really easy. It was such fun, and I thought, oh, this is because I'm podded. I've got fit on the pod. She's like, it's a doddle.
Yeah, you've been in training, haven't you?
Yeah. She said, should I run through the questions beforehand? I said, no way, just ask me anything you want. She said, really, there's nothing you don't. I said, honestly.
Don't want to hear them.
Say anything at all. I'll get the thing going. It was a laugh, actually. And that was from podding a bit more. And you said you had to make a speech the other day at a party,
I had to go onto the stage at Crazy Horse in Paris, dressed as a geisha girl, and give a speech to a...
You disgusting.
Depravity.
You revolt me, Paul.
The depravity.
Dressed as a woman at the Crazy Horse.
Dressed as a woman, I say. Well, you know, Guy. And I had to get up there, and I lost
things he does for money.
I lost my speech. So I had to kind of ad-lib it, and I just felt confident, and I've never done that before, and there were some quite heavy hitters in the room, and I thought, this could go fucking badly wrong, but it didn't, and I hadn't even been drinking because I thought I'd better stay sober, so I'd had a few drinks, but not very many, and it's like you say, I just felt that doing this had stood me in fairly good stead, really. And then this bloke grabbed my arse.
Did he? God, he must have been desperate. I saw you, and you were no oil painting, I can tell you. I thought...
I looked hot, Guy.
No, I thought, don't play hard to get.
Guy,
because you are not going to pick anyone up.
Guy, I looked fit as a butcher's dog.
You did not, Paul. You
did, Guy.
I don't want to be rude to women.
You
Luckily,
don't know.
You look like a dog.
Me. The director of Moulin Rouge came up to me afterwards and said, "You are the best thing I have seen on that stage, and I have been here many, many times." And I said, "I want some of what you're on."
What, Baz Luhrmann?
Baz Luhrmann came up to me and said that to me. Cross my heart. He must have been stoned, man.
He wasn't, just a shameless flatterer.
Well, do you think well, that's what I'm saying, maybe he wanted to get into my...
I saw him bump into a table earlier too, maybe his eyesight's dodgy.
Maybe he wanted to get into my knickers, Guy.
I can't.
Shall I tell you what Nick
You know what he looked like? Listen,
Shall I tell you what Nick
he
is?
looked like he looked like a woman who owned a Brighton boarding house. Darted up for a Friday evening down at the pub.
That's awful, Guy. Well, we're going to get you in drag then and find out what you look like.
I'm not going to.
I think we should, listeners. If you think Guy should be in drag,
I'm not interested in it.
Come on, Guy.
You like it. You get all sexy, and he gets all pouty.
No, I don't.
You do, and you shot me little coy looks.
What?
You did, Paul.
No, I didn't.
He had a black bob on.
Well, they do, the Japanese women.
Well, you're a Japanese way.
I was supposed to be like a madam.
So there's a kind of racist edge to this as well.
Not racist, Guy. It was an homage.
I hope you were paid a lot.
It was an homage. And I did it for love, Guy. I didn't do it for money.
Right, okay. And then...
I might post a picture of it on. You can decide.
Should we put it on the That's Just Ridiculous Paul in drag? And you can, because without being at all sexist, you can rate her out of 10.
That's not very nice. Of course that's sexist.
You can.
Guy,
your bosoms look true.
I didn't have any bosoms in.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Well, no, it wasn't that. That sounds very sexist. I didn't mean that. They just look like odd bosoms.
I didn't have, they were mine, Guy. They were the model's own.
Okay, well, that was a mistake.
I didn't stuff anything down there.
It was a mistake.
There were no socks and there was no bra.
It was a mistake, Paul.
It wasn't.
That's the Brighton boarding house lady. All right, love. You've
Guy.
got your tea. You look as, you know.
Some people think that looks very erotic.
Who?
Anyway, I wasn't doing it to be erotic.
Well, you had a change of argument.
Eh?
That was a change of argument.
No, I mean I like to look nice, but I'm not trying to turn men on or anything like that. Guy.
That's not true. That's a lie, Paul.
It's not. That is the truth.
I saw you on the dance floor.
What do you mean?
It's a little coquettish little look. You tried it with me.
What are you talking about?
Grind upon me.
I did not grind upon you. Guy, I did not grind upon you or anybody else.
Now, men throwing themselves off the...
Men were throwing themselves at me. I can't help that. I looked hot in drag.
You may have once, Paul.
But that's not why I was doing it.
Truck time is a cruel companion. I tell you, we've got to put a picture up of this because I'm not being cruel to him.
No.
He looked terrible. You mustn't do it again. What were you wearing on your feet?
Heels.
Oh, I remember, yeah, you walked around like Dick Emery.
Sparkly heels.
That's it.
I did not walk around like Dick fucking Emery. Really? Oh, horrible. Guy.
But you made a good speech.
Well, thank you for that at least.
You made a good speech.
I got a lot of compliments. I think you're jealous of the amount of compliments I got that night.
Would never be. I'd be proud of them. You're my friend. I love it when all of my friends do well. I'm not jealous of my friends.
But why are you making out that I was a dog then?
I'm trying to paint a picture with words for the listener.
Well, we don't need to do that because we can put it up there and people can decide for
All
themselves.
right, okay, we're going to put it up there.
I'm not saying that I was the fittest bird in the room, but I'm a bloke after all.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be, Susie Wong.
Mm-hmm. You were. That is exactly what you were trying to be. Oh, he's gone all shy now.
All right, I was.
In the cheapest production of
Wait
Miss
a minute,
Saigon.
it wasn't cheap. That dress was made for me.
Of Miss Saigon with a kind of out-of-tune orchestra and wobbly set.
No, Guy, there was no orchestra.
And on Prance's Paul.
Guy, that's not fair.
No, not talking about the production that we saw.
No, what about Madame Butterfly?
That's what I'm talking about, isn't it? Miss Saigon, the same thing.
Miss Saigon.
Yeah, same thing. I've never seen it, actually.
No.
It sounds like a really annoying...
It does sound a bit annoying. Although it's a very sad story, isn't it?
It's a GI's bird.
Titwillow.
No, Titwillow's from Gilbert and Sullivan.
Is it?
Titwillow,
Titwillow, Titwillow, because of the la 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 la, because of the flowers that bloom in the spring, tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la, the flowers that bloom in the spring, tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la, the flowers that bloom in the spring, dum dum bum bum bum, the flowers that bloom in the spring, tra la, bring wrong as vanish. It's that one, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not certain it is. I think it is. But I tell you, I suddenly realised that Paul was born in the wrong time because you would have been a leading member of the Doily Cart.
The Doily Cart.
Doing
What's a doily cart?
The doily cart was a
Do you know what that puts me in mind of?
Just listen.
A
You
cart.
ask me a question, then you just interrupt me.
I'm just going to tell you what it puts me in mind of.
What?
Because I'm probably wrong. Like a cart with wheels on, covered in doilies.
Yeah, but in fact, who it is the two men, Doily and Cart, and they had a...
Oh, you're making it up.
No, just listen, they had a...
Guy, you're making it up, Doily and Cart.
Just listen to me. They had...
Guy.
God, you're so annoying.
Those are not men's names, Doily and Cart.
Listener, can you imagine what this is like to deal with?
Guy, just get on with it.
They are. You can wiki it if you really want to. But if you just listen, I'll tell you. And they ran a repertory company, and what they did was that they just put on, a bit like Macintosh with Andrew Lloyd Webber, they just put on Gilbert and Sullivan operas.
Right.
But it was after, I think, Gilbert and Sullivan were dead, or after they'd finished writing them.
Gilbert O'Sullivan?
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Who did?
Stop it.
Who did?
Stop, Paul,
Claire,
listen.
the moment I met you, I swear, I feel as if something, and get down, get down, get down. You're a bad dog, baby, but I still want you around. I still want you around. Bad baby, bad dog, baby. That one.
God, you're very...
I'm
trying to have a serious conversation about light opera.
Well, get on with it then.
Anyway, they had this...
It's so interminably dull.
Okay, all right.
Come on, Guy.
And they had this company that just did Gilbert
They
and
just did
Sullivan.
Doily Cart.
No, they just listened. They just did Gilbert and Sullivan. But here's the point of it.
Gilbert and Doily.
Oh, God, you're so annoying. They did them in a very fixed, mannered style.
What do you mean by that?
They had a look. The plays all had a look, and they never sort of diverted from this very controlled Edwardian sort of proscenium arch, kind of unimaginative theatrical experience, which was adored by the British middle classes. And we saw the world through Gilbert and Sullivan, through Doily Cart.
I am the very model of a modern Major General.
Absolutely. And with everyone lined up on stage, they always had people lined up on stage, and it was all very staid and very predictable.
A bit like the gang shows in Half Hot Mum.
Yes, I suspect so, but with a bit more, but with a bigger budget. And they became known that
bad makeup
and everyone else, and everyone
red dots in the middle of the eyes,
and everyone else around the world ridiculed Britain for it because they thought it was our version. We thought it was our version of opera, and it was it's obviously really radiated operetta, yeah, and it turned out to be not. It hasn't really.
I am the operetta with my.
We used to do it at school. The reason I knew it, but we used to do it at school. I'd never seen it before I went to school, and each year we used to do one, Pirates of Penzance, things like that.
Did you do 1066 and all that at your school?
No, it was a book. That
it was also a
play.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
It was. I was in it.
Yeah.
Guy,
that doesn't mean it was. That doesn't mean it was.
It was a fucking play. I was in it.
Yeah, but someone may have dramatised.
It's called an adaptation, Guy.
Adaptation, yeah. 1066 and all that. Yeah, okay.
I was in it. Yeah. It was shit. I enjoyed it though. I used to like treading the boards when I was a kid.
Oh God, I was terrible at it.
I was really good at it.
I bet you were good at it. Yeah. And you could easily have been an actor.
I could remember my words.
You could easily, because you got a brilliant ear. In fact, why aren't you a film star, Paul?
Fuck off.
It's not too late to start. Didn't Bob Hoskins start?
What about in that film that we watched the other night? That remake of Sleuth.
Oh, yes. That was a slightly embarrassing page in British cinema history.
But there was a character in that was based on me.
Oh, yeah. Paul's mate was in this. Was in a film.
Somebody he's not my mate. Somebody I used to know
and he had said that he had based his performance on Paul, and I have to say you could tell it was because the guy did look passingly like Paul. But
it was him in drag. It was him in Northerner drag.
Yeah, Northerner drag. And you got to see it actually. It's Sleuth, and it's the part played by Jude Law in the second part of the film. And he's got a northern accent on, a bit like Paul's, and he's dressed up like Paul.
Except it's a Mancunian accent for a start.
Right, okay.
He's like fucking that, isn't it? Like a Mancunian accent.
Yeah.
And he's just this horrible, greasy...
He's caught nothing of Paul at all. Nothing of Paul.
It's just horrific.
Yeah.
And when he said, we went to see it and he went, what did you think? What did you think? I based him on you. I was like, I did not know what to say. What can you fucking say?
Kick him in the shin.
I really wanted to. I was so annoyed. But what can you do?
Was he thought you'd be delighted by the uncanny resemblance?
No, I think he thought I'd be flattered. It was just awful. That movie is something else, actually.
It's a terrible film. And an absolute, one of the ugliest ugliest sets, didn't you think? It was
this
funnily
whole-
enough, Paul, it was an art collector's house. You know, and it was the ugliest thing, the ugliest place.
It was ugly.
And I don't think it was meant to be ugly, was it?
No, I don't think so.
No,
and what
it's
about the lighting
really
as
sad.
well?
Everything was so
Really
ugly
horrible
about
gels.
it. Kenneth Branagh directed it. Couldn't direct a fly out of a paper bag. It was absolutely appallingly directed. Everything was wrong about it. Every time anyone moved across the room, you just thought that's bullshit.
It was a two-hander, wasn't it?
So hold on, that chair was much closer to the table when he stood up. You know what I mean? Or if it's like
That's continuity, guy. That's not.
well, it's
direction.
not quite. It's also just slack direction. Do you remember with the ladder coming through the window and all that?
Yeah.
You thought he can't reach that ladder. You couldn't do that. You couldn't get in. Then when you cut back, you cut away to Michael Caine. You cut back. Oh, he's on the ladder. You go, no, you couldn't do that. I'm not.
How did he
What do you
do
think?
that?
You would take me for a total
He'd have broke
twat.
his neck, wouldn't
yeah,
he?
Exactly. It was a very tricky operation.
He'd have broke his
anyway,
foot.
Kenneth went, doesn't matter, darling. We'll cut away.
Just cut away.
Then we'll come back and he's on the ladder.
Right,
We
somebody-
solved it. No, you haven't solved it. You've made a total ass of the actor, yourself, and the script.
Oh.
You know, sorry to rant. It was a really, really bad film.
Did you not enjoy it?
When the original Sleuth was so utterly magnificent, but they had it rewritten by Pinter. There was a terrible.
Pinter?
I know, terrible mess.
I mean, Kenneth Branagh, Pinter,
yeah, but it was originally written by
Jude Law,
Peter Schaffer,
and
whatever
what's his
he's called.
name? And Michael Caine.
Yeah.
That sounds like a bit of a dream team.
If
to
you'd
me.
done a Pinter thing, but it wasn't right material for Pinter.
Yeah.
It's a light comedy. It's a light comedy, you know. In Schaffer's hands, it was a very funny comedy, hilarious comedy.
It had this gay undertow as well, which
Oh my God! It
where
lost
did that
its
come
way.
from?
It was absolutely.
It went totally gay halfway through. It's really worth seeing, actually.
Yeah,
It's so insane.
that is so bad. It's bad, and you will see Paul depicted by Jude Law via Harold Pinter. God, the mind reel.
Boggles. And on that, dear listener, we shall leave you because, and you know, I mean, of course it's. I don't even know what to say. So horrific.
Thank you.